Tag F2 Configurations. This tag contains 4 subtags: Options, the device, Factors, and the data of the car. In this video, we will pay a more detailed attention to the Options tag. It contains the information about switching from petrol to gas, temporary switching from gas to petrol and back to gas, the settings of the revolution of the engine, about sensors checking method, about switching from gas to petrol, about petrol injector type, and map recording savings. Settings. The first section, switching from petrol to gas. Switching from petrol to gas takes place if all those three parameters correspond to the set ones. The vaporizer temperature exceeds 40 degrees Celsius, the differential pressure is over 0.5 bars, revolutions of the engine exceed 1000 per minute, then the switching takes place. The switching of the first injector, then after 2 seconds the switching of the second injector, after another 2 seconds switching of the third injector, and so on. Let's pay attention that all the settings can be changed. The injectors preheating option permits to switch on the injectors before switching to gas, which is necessary for their preheating. If the temperature of the air is less than 5 degrees Celsius and this option is on, the injectors run as if you were going on gas. The only difference is that the gas valve doesn't switch on. And if all these three parameters, whether correspond to the set ones or exceed them, switching to gas takes place. Temporary switching gas, petrol, gas. It is activated if this option is on. The car switches from gas to petrol if the revolution exceeds 5000 per minute, and switches back to gas if the revolutions are less than 4500. This temporary switching doesn't give any signals to the indicator. This regime is hidden from the user. Next, source of the impulses of engine revolutions. It is necessary to set the prescaler of the impulses so that the revolutions of the engine would match the reading of tachometer in the car. There are 6 options and you should choose the wanted one depending on the switching. The diagnostics can help you complete this task. More detailed information about diagnostics will be given in another corresponding sector. You must also set the sensitivity threshold and the impulse filtration or the auto filter. This filter is the meaning in milliseconds during which the program doesn't react to the impulses incoming from the engine revolutions. Next, sensor checking method. It can be whether dynamic or only when ignition is on, and there is also a possibility to switch the sensor off. In this case, the car runs strictly according to the set characteristics, that is, according to this diagram. The dynamic sensor check permits the program control the parameters of the sensors and switch the sensor off in case of exceeding the limits. In this case, the correction of the sensor data doesn't participate in running of the program. If the data is back within limits, the program switches it back in the operating, and all the mathematical factors turn on. Switching from gas to petrol. If this option is on, the corresponding signal will be produced by the indicator. If the differential pressure is below 0.3 bars and as 0.5 seconds pass, petrol injector type, impulses can be both negative and positive. The injector can be sequent or non-sequent, as well as mono-injector. Map recording settings. This option turns map recording on, and then the data of the map will be recorded into the memory of controller. This is the time of the register of a map point. In this case, during 100 milliseconds, the measuring, the collection of the information take place, and if the information doesn't change during 100 milliseconds, the point is registered on the map. Point gathering for the map takes place if the temperature is above 50 degrees Celsius and in the range from 2000 to 3000 engine revolutions per minute. All these configurations must be transmitted to the controller by pressing this button, and then they come into force. Or in the F7 tag settings, you can turn on the option of transmitting configuration and diagram data immediately after change. Then, after any change, for example here, the data is immediately transmitted to the controller, and you don't have to press the transmit button.